Jimmy, you were educating us on the funding.
Yes, I think it has got to do with the structure. When you expect that the private sector will come in and the government has not provided an enabling
How did the British do it?
I mean, it was quite easy for them to use the lottery
fund
players proceeds to get at least to do wonders. I mean, if you've got at least getting $28,000 pounds annually, then naturally they would perform. And now that's not what we have here. You know, they have been able to, from £5 million, have that progression, £54 million. And right now, what do we have? They've got, the array of talent that actually got them, gold medals in Rio. But in Nigeria, what do we have? We have got the National Lottery Trust Fund. I mean, these get 20% of proceeds from lottery players. But what do we have the funds assigned for?
You answer that. Let's say from Frank. Hello, Frank.
Yeah, hello. Yeah. Good afternoon, Ken.
Good afternoon, Frank.
Okay. I just want to thank the last caller talking about Sam John, who comes from Abuja. Yeah, the veteran journalist, you said. But I also want to say that the problem we have in this country is that football is the only sport. Let me just say that, because Henry is there. Not a lot of young people know anything about Henry Amike. Well, I followed him. I think I remember him in the 88 Olympics. That's the one I think I followed very well. They haven't said that football has just been so much dominant when it comes to sports in Nigeria that nobody knows there's any other existing sport. Basketball is just trying, and maybe some other team sports. So when you talk about tracks and field, how many young people know anything about, people who run for Nigeria? You see? And I think I blame the sports ministry because they attach so much importance to the game of football. Look at what happened during the Olympics. And they were all talking about Chaka and his team, how they moved from Atlanta to wherever they went. I don't even care. But the thing is that every other sport was suffering. And while our athletes were talking about how to get to Rio, they denied every allegation and said it wasn't true. They didn't know who said what, and the rest of them. So I think it is time we start looking at other sports, because football is a team game that gives you 11 men on the pitch. Then in the end, even if you end up winning the goal, it is just one goal. But when you invest in other sports, trust me, a country like, I think it was Puerto Rico or something that got a tennis player who gave them the solitary goals they got. Just one player did that magic. So if we come back and look at other sports.
All right. Thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Henry, Jimmy saying it is the lottery fund that is used to run sports. And you are aware we have one in Nigeria. So why is it not running our sports?
Well, I'm happy you brought up the issue of lottery.
Yeah.
That's why I said we still need private sectors to do a lot of things in Nigeria. I remember in 1984, I was in America then, and there was issue of funding to fund the 1984 Olympic Games. Somebody was called the pillar of sports in Africa, in the person of MKO Abiola. And Piola was the one that started this fund of lottery we're talking about. He went around doing launching for the 1984 Olympic Games, and that was what brought about sports lottery. And that sports lottery generated a lot of funds that time, that they set up a committee, and Wanyanwu or something like that became the chairman, and from there they changed it now to say presidency is the only one that can access the fund. We still have a lot of money in that fund. And like they have in education, there's what is called Education Trust Fund. I think the government can institute Sports Trust Fund directly for sports management. Not the one that you have to go to the presidency because you can access. Fortunately, unfortunately, the president of the Nigeria Olympic Committee today is supposed to be the head of the lottery trust fund, but unfortunately, he cannot access it.
He cannot access it. There is a gold mine somewhere. We're talking about it, and then the money is there, the trust fund. I know that we are not a lottery nation, just like, how it is there as a culture in Europe. That is like, so when Nigerian Olympic Committee should be able to say, this is our money. And then how do we get to it, and how do we fund it? How do we, get, if there is a structure on how, okay, this money is here, at this percentage come, this is it, and then we'll talk about it. So, what do we do?
Okay, since we're having this bottleneck, what is the House Committee on Sports and Senate Committee on Sports doing? These are supposed to be bodies.
Yeah, pardon.
These are supposed to be bodies. Who should be overseeing institutions, sports institutions and organizations like this? If they know there's this bottleneck, there's money somewhere, but they can't access it, it's only the president that can access it. They should be doing something about it.
Your last words.
I think it's got more to do with the policy framework that we are supposed to adopt at this point in time. The minister had declared the state of emergency. It's got to start from here. Are we talking about funding? Are we talking about welfare? You know, rewards and awards and all these things. We've got to put it in context and do the right thing.
Can you close the show for us?
Finally, before I go, I want to advise and appeal my brothers in the private sector, my sisters in the private sector, many individuals of Nigeria, please, in the name of sports and God, come to the rescue of sports. Thank you very much.
In the name of sports and God, have a blessed Sunday. I'm Ken Ochonaga.